Oh, hello. Hey. Hi. Man, it is cold. I'm still reeling from the crazy temperature change that's been happening over the past couple of days. Like it was 20 C yesterday and now it's like 5. Speaking of cold temperatures, today today is the last day of November. We're almost done with November. And we're off to December. Christmas is coming soon. The end of the year is coming soon. We've gone through 11 full months of 2022, and I can't believe we've made it this far. But yeah. Should be an interesting time for this last little bit. Today and yesterday were both kind of weird for me. I jumped back and forth between working on stream stuff and taking a break because, I don't know, I'm a workaholic. And today, I tried to uneventfully pick up art again, and it didn't end up going super well because I had one of those creative bursts of energy where I was like, I really want to do this. I really want to learn it. And then I realized, bro, you're trying to learn 4 different things at once already. You're trying to stream, do graphic design. What were the other things? Brain, please. Stream, do graphic design, set up video editing software, and ramble on a microphone and like audio stuff. So, do you really want to add another task, like another like art-based task on top of all of the stuff that you're currently working on? And my stupid brain went, yeah, absolutely, that's a great idea. And then about 30 to 45 minutes after I was done with my little burst, I went, yeah, no, I'm not going to have any time for anything. So I decided to put that on the back burner for a while. I really do want to become a better artist, though, because with all the talk of the town about like generated art and people taking credit for things that they didn't actually do, I want to actually like try to do something for me and for like to show that I can actually make something with quality. But that's a bit controversial, that whole art thing, and that's not what we're talking about today. I just thought I'd bring up what that weird little tweet splurge was earlier. Anyway, so today's a very interesting stream that I came up with pretty much on the spot, and I've actually been looking forward to. It is completely different from everything I've done before because it is a tier list of SCP articles. Now, if you don't know what SCP articles are, SCP stands for Secure, Contain, Protect. It is essentially an online creative writing community where they write articles all within this shared universe of this like scientific organization that is their entire job is to contain anomalies. And by anomalies, that can be anything from like monsters to transdimensional phenomena to like a bowl of candy that if you take too many pieces out will slice your arms off from the wrists. Just things that, you know, normally don't happen in everyday life. And the SCP's job is to hide it from the public, contain it, and try to keep people safe. And this whole community is just a bunch of writers who came together and wrote, and are still writing actually, a bunch of different articles about different phenomena in this universe. And it is probably one of the biggest, most involved, and highest quality group effort, like creative writing anything on the internet, like ever. It is awesome. And I wanted to share some of SCP because I just think that the whole concept is super unique. And the idea for the stream actually came about because I used to do this. in my earlier days in college, where I was stuck on my campus because I decided to stay on campus for a period of time, there were long stretches between classes, and when I had nothing better to do, I would just grab a random number generator, throw in whatever the highest numbered article was at the time, which right now I think is 8,000. That doesn't mean there are 8,000 articles, that just means that's the highest number. And you go from 1 to 8,000 and you hit randomize, and it sends you to, and you get a number and you go to a random page and you read it. And I did that for as long as I had for that break, and it was fun. It's fun reading cool stuff like this. So it is now a stream. It is now a stream that I'm doing currently. And I don't know how far we're gonna get. I want to get through at least 10 articles. I would be very surprised if we got to 20, because some of these are quite long. But if we get there, that will be really cool, because that it's just exposing a very small portion of a very large, awesome creative writing project. And obviously, I don't own any of these articles. I am not a member of the site. All of these articles are written by their respective authors, and they're all very talented people. So if you like what you see on stream today, be sure to go over to the actual website and look at these articles properly, because some of them are extremely in-depth. And if we get to an article that is quite long and has subpages upon subpages that we just cannot read, I'm gonna say go and read it if it's interesting, because I'm gonna guarantee every single article today is gonna be at least interesting somehow. I don't know how, but I can guarantee they're going to be. But that's why we're ranking them, because I probably have not seen most of the ones that we're gonna get on the randomizer. If we get some of the more popular ones, yeah, I definitely have seen those, and we're gonna read them out anyway. But for some of the less popular stuff, who knows? It could be really interesting, or it could be kind of boring, but also still interesting, because I don't think there's really a bad article on SCP. And not only that, we're using the English site, which is the main site, but there are articles in different languages that are completely different. There are JP articles, there are RU articles, there are French articles, and they're completely different. They're not translations of the English ones, which there's even more articles on top of those if you don't speak just English. So, if you like SCP, go read SCP. If you like what you see on stream, go read SCP. It's just, I love this kind of stuff, and I'm bringing it to you, and we're doing it today. So, with that being said, let's switch over to the scene that I have meticulously, and by meticulously I mean haphazardly, set up for this. Oh boy. Oh, I'm under it. Hold on. Let's move me on top of it again. Hello. All right. So, we are here now at the SCP screen with a nice ambiance. The ambiance. I don't speak French, but I think it's a French word. And what we're going to do is what I was describing earlier. We're going to set up an RNG. Hold on a second. We're going to set up the random number generator from my Destiny stream. It's the same one, same website. As you can see, I already tested it a little bit. And we will hit the random number generator, randomly get an article, see if it exists, which most of them do. It's just in the top half, they probably don't. And then read it out, see how interesting it is, and rank it accordingly. This tier list is not super reflective of these articles, because kind of boring IMO is more of a, yeah, it's good, but it could be better, where it's not actually bad. If there's something actually bad, I'll mention it. And then 10 out of 10 would avoid sleep again. That just means the article is really, really good or really scary. Either one. So with that, let me just grab the random number generator. Here it is. And let's go to our first article, yeah? 1671. 1671. Let me bring up the actual webpage. Here's the webpage. All of them are listed here. They're all by series. One is 0 to 999, and it goes from there. So we're on series 2. 1671. Look at all these articles. This website is awesome. 1671 corpse mine. Okay. Let's go for it. SCP-1671. Object Class, Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. The security perimeter of the property containing SCP-1671 is to be monitored by armed patrol and night vision security cameras. Foundation personnel are not permitted within SCP-1671 without Level A hazardous material suits. All materials removed from within SCP-1671 are to be sterilized before removal. Any personnel showing signs of sickness after entry to SCP-1671 are to be quarantined immediately. Okay, so there's some kind of biohazard in the air. SCP-1671-2 work cycles are not to be interrupted. All direct study of SCP-1671-2 specimens is to be carried out upon specimens' rest cycle. This consists of interviews, physical examinations, work cycle observation is to be carried out by remotely operated vehicle only. Update 2011. Physical contact with SCP-1671-2 specimens is not permitted. Update 2013. Injured or deceased SCP-1671-2 specimens are not to be disturbed in any way. For further information on the use of recorded SCP-1671-1 material, please see EXP. Okay. So now we know that these things are a biohazard, cannot be touched, and the dead or deceased ones, well, those are the same thing. The injured or deceased ones are also bad. So whatever this is, don't go near it. SCP-1671 is an abandoned coal mine located near Pennsylvania. SCP-1671 was originally founded in 1887 by the Burr Company and remained in operation until 1923. No reports of anomalous activity have been recovered from the period of operation. No service buildings from the original mine remain. A guard station has been constructed over the entrance for the storage of research materials and housing of security personnel, and the elevator to the mine has been replaced. The room surrounding the primary shaft entrance has been expanded to contain SCP-1671-A and a barracks room. The temperature within SCP-1671 is a constant 35.5 C. That's hot. SCP-1671-A is a hemisphere of cast iron, measuring 4.5 meters in diameter and 2.25 meters in height, located in the entry chamber of SCP-1671. Four 1.5 by 1.5 meter hatches are located at 90-degree intervals on SCP-1671-A. The lower levels of SCP-1671 contain seams of human corpses. Designated SCP-1671-1, SCP-1671-1 specimens are of varied age and race with no apparent pattern to these traits. SCP-1671-1 specimens are generally in a state of advanced decay due to conditions within SCP-1671. Genetic testing has not matched any SCP-1671-1 specimens with known individuals living or dead. The total amount of SCP-1671-1 within SCP-1671 is unknown. Seams do not appear to decrease in size. That is, when SCP-1671-1 material is removed, further instances of SCP-1671-1 are pushed to the front of the seam. So how deep does this go? That seems... like, where are all these corpses coming from? SCP-1671-2 designates a group of 243 blind, hairless, humanoid entries found within SCP-1671. SCP-1671-2 specimens stand an average of 1.5 meters in height and weigh an average of 85 kilograms. Each specimen is in possession of identical personal belongings: an iron collar, a black boiler suit, a pickaxe, and a shovel. Damaged or lost equipment is replaced by 1671-A through the north hatch. 1671-2 specimens are apparently sapient and fluent in English, but will generally ignore or disregard attempts at communication. Communication between SCP-1671-2 specimens is rare and generally consists of monosyllabic directives. It is unknown how 1671-2 specimens navigate. Tests to determine echolocation and thermal sensing properties are present have been negative. 1671-2 operate in 3 8-hour shifts: mining, transport, and rest, with 81 1671-2 specimens assigned to each task. Shifts begin at 0, 800, and 1600 hours respectively, marked by low whistling noise heard throughout 1671. The source of this noise is unknown. 1671-1 material mined by 1671-2 will be transported up to the primary entrance chamber through use of a lift operated by 1671-2 pull teams. Carts of 1671-1 material will then be unloaded onto 1671-A. So it's like a mining operation where a bunch of these mutated human, like almost like Neanderthal things, are taking corpses from the wall and like mining them as resources. What? Okay. Addendum 1, 2011. Accidental physical contact with 1671-232 by Agent Burt resulted in 232 attacking Agent with his shovel, killing him through collapse of the skull. 1671-232 did not show any hostility to other personnel present and resumed mining immediately upon Agent's death. No other hostile behavior has been observed from any SCP-1671-2 specimens. Addendum 2. The following statement was made by 223 on 2011 at 02. It's the only recorded instance of a 1671-2 specimen speaking with Foundation personnel. Cease asking questions that cannot be answered. There is nothing to say. We work, we sleep, we work again. The toil repeats. It does not end. Put away your wandering eyes, or take up a pick into your uncalloused hands. 223 did not respond for follow-up communication attempts. Huh. Addendum 3. 2106 was killed by a cave-in on level 5 at 1055. The nearest 1671-2 specimen, 2104, proceeded to consume 1671-1 material until the rupturing of the stomach, resulting in the full expulsion of a grown 1671-2 specimen. Two other 1671-2 specimens, 2110 and 2087, recovered the body of 2106 from the rubble and proceeded to gouge out the eyes. This was then followed by setting stones in the eye socket and the placement of a larger chunk of rock in the mouth. The body was carried to the primary chamber by 2087, 2104, 2104-2, and 2110, and was loaded onto 1671-A. Upon this 1671-A dispensed a replacement set of equipment. 2104-2 placed the iron collar around its own neck and resumed work. The event took 32 minutes from the death of 1671-2106 to the resumption of work. 2104's abdominal damage healed within 24 hours. So it is a perpetually created workforce that mines these human corpses from the wall. That leaves so much, like, what is that? What even? That is crazy. I'm genuinely, like, that one just is confusing. That's just a confusing one. So 1671 was it? Yeah, let's edit this really quickly. All right, 1671. Oopsie. So, I don't know. It was kind of confusing. I won't say it's bad because it is really intriguing. Like, it makes me want to know more. But it's kind of confusing because, like, why are they mining the corpses? Why are they constantly replenishing? What is happening? So it's not that it's a bad article. It's not by any means. It's just it doesn't explain enough to be super intriguing. So to start off, we're gonna put 1671, I'd say, in the meh tier because it's good. It's creepy, but it doesn't really explain all that much. All right, off to the next one. See what we get. 7131. All right, I'm gonna take a guess that this one doesn't exist yet. Let's see, 7131. It does not. All right, go for another one. 6217. This one might exist. And the later articles usually have more of a quality, whatever you call it. 6217, the emergence. Alrighty, let's bring this up back on the screen. Oh yeah, hold on. Well. All right. Whoa, this page is different. All right, this is 6217. Login Wenxuan Zhang. Password correct. Biometric test passed. Welcome back, Dr. Zhang. Today is 6/22/2041, your 6,217th day working as a Foundation researcher. What do you want to do? Access 6217. Warning, 6217 requires 6217 authorization. Please confirm you have corresponding authorization. Continue yes or no. Checking authorization. Authentication successful. Document loading. File was last accessed int overflow days ago. This document is under a continuous internal attack. The file has thus been autonomously locked for any further we are, and then some sort of numeric code. 6217, level 4 secret. Containment class esoteric, secondary class Polyon, disruption, Amida, risk critical. So this is essentially a impossible to contain SCP that can create sincerely apocalyptic conditions, can be seen, felt, and heard by all people, and has a very high chance of destroying the natural world. Fun! Special containment procedures not applicable. Description: SCP-6217 is the underlying anomalous phenomenon causing a progressing CC class collapse of chemistry scenario. It is expected that 6217 will exterminate all carbon-based life within 3, then 2, then 1 year. Okay. The original 6217 document has been archived. Do you want to access the original document? Yes. Okay, so it's a Keter SCP with a disruption of Vlam and a risk of danger. Okay, so it's less crazy than that first thing has us think it is. New Stony Lake in location 6217. Special containment procedures. The area surrounding Special Containment Facility 6217 has been redesignated as an extrabiomic ecosystem and as such is exempt from all standard environmental and ecological protection protocols. The boundaries of location 6217 are observed to change. 6217 staff are to conduct an environmental survey to determine new protocols. 6217 has been set within location 6217 and responsible for all aspects of containment and research works associated with SCP-6217. No biological samples collected within location are are permitted to leave the custody of Site-6217. Anyone attempting to enter or leave the location without clearance or record of decontamination will be contained for 24 hours with no exception. If the detained individual is determined to be under the influence of SCP-6217 during these 24 hours, they are to be terminated and their remains redesignated as a sub-instance of the SCP. Other procedures are only available to staff members participating in the containment of SCP-6217. For more information, please consult the Containment Handbook with appropriate authorization. Okay. Description: SCP-6217 is the basis of several sub-anomalies originating within 6217. Location 6217 refers to the New Stony Lake and 17 adjacent villages and towns located in Ohio, USA. Ohio? Okay. It is currently postulated that no inhabitants within the area are non-anomalous humans. Other 6217-related descriptions have been redacted in accordance with the directives of the Overseer Council. Please see addenda for more information. There are what looks like 8 addenda. We're gonna try to skim these. Let's see if we can get like at least an idea of what's going on. 3 villages and towns located within 6217 have been considered inactive since 2009. Anomalous nature found during routine exploratory operation. And then we have a start log. I'm going to skip the dialogue and just kind of generally summarize. Goes behind the tree line in the direction of the lake. Grass becomes a dark black and the soil a deep rusted red. Camera pans upwards, trees come into focus to reveal they have no leaves. Instead, a flock of blackbirds sits upon each branch, each eye is fixated on the Sigma-1 members. So this SCP affects natural life forms. Sigma-1 encounters a small dilapidated community of 10 homes. Houses have all been stripped violently of their gutters, garage doors, and other metal. Several humanoids can be seen inside the houses. The road comes further into view to reveal that center of the road has been dug up with branching trenches leading towards each house. Shattered glass litters the ground. Several wooden utility poles have been knocked over with what appear to be claw marks running along their height. Upon the poles, more blackbirds watch. The trench dug up to the house on the road has been filled with rain and appears to be running uphill towards the road. They take a sample of the trench water. A couch had its fabric and innards strewn about the living room. The majority of the ceiling beyond the entryway has collapsed, and the floor has caved into the basement. Shreds of rubber and leather are strewn across the floor and piled by the walls. Appliances have all been ripped away from the walls, and moldering food covers the counters. There's a cabinet that's rapidly shaking. We're inside a house. A large blackbird scaws and flies out through the window, spraying a thick black substance over the room and Sigma-1 with every wing flap. A pile of black sludge begins to inch its way out of the cabinet towards the window as well, before being captured. Sigma-1-2 separates from the group and walks toward the woods to the right of them. They're filling samples, and they release a... Oh, suddenly a flare shoots out of the sky, trees in the sky, and explodes into blue smoke. So... Oh, Sigma-1-2 sending out a flare. Got you. As the houses come back into clear view of the camera, the humanoid entities are no longer located in their respective rooms, and the sounds of footsteps and branches snapping are heard emanating from the woods. Sigma-1-1 begins to increase speed until she is jogging towards the kitchen door. The houses begin to creak with footsteps upstairs, moving with a wandering pace towards the staircase in the living room. Something large crashes through the kitchen window. A large wet thump is heard. 15 elderly people are wandering aimlessly and staring at the sky. As she looks upwards, the trees ahead of them begin to shake, and the birds in their branches take flight, forming a massive swarm in the sky and blocking out sunlight. As the birds fly erratically, the black sludge drips down on the road, and the humanoids forming pools on the street that begin to grow in size by moving and combining with smaller puddles. As the droplets land on the humanoids, they form long, thin tendrils stretching from their bodies like long fur. The birds begin swarming into a single ray in the sky, sending several birds down to peck and claw at Sigma-1-3. The birds descend down. Several birds take notice and descend upon Sigma-1-1, pecking and scratching at her exposed skin. The coil of birds then turns to her and quickly begin approaching just as Sigma-1-1 reaches the trees. As the swarm catches up to her, she removes her helmet, headset, and body armor, tosses them aside for greater mobility, and retaining only her pistol. She covers her head with her arms as the birds continue to attack and curls into a ball. She fires 6 shots in the directions of the swarm. She sprints towards the house on the other side of the road, comes crashing through the door, tripping over a welcome mat and tumbling onto a coffee table the family sat eating dinner. MTF, Sigma-1-2, and Sigma-1-3 are both presumed lost, despite no remains having been identified. See Addendum 5 for the detailed analysis of the composition and structure of the black substance samples collected during this and subsequent exploratory operations. So already we have a crazy mystery on our hands with these birds. Like, the trees are all dead, there's trenches in the ground, the houses are destroyed, there's these old elderly people, and there's black sludge birds, which is terrifying to think about. I want to see how long the rest of these are. Whoa! Okay, so now we get a little bit of explanation on these birds. Analysis of the footage and samples collected by Sigma-1-1 show that almost all organisms within the location exhibit a complex set of symptoms and an incurable disease. Tissue samples were found to have their hydrocarbon composition replaced by a mixture of iron and sulfur. That explains the rust and the metallic trees. Okay. 23 human instances have been identified. And then... Oh, it's a subject breakdown. Former principal investigator overseeing containment efforts of the location. She went to the... Oh, I'm sorry, I'm just aggressively skimming. Subject was found alone in his house at the time of detection, was the most symptomatic of the admitted infected persons and displayed significant psychiatric symptoms connected to 6217A. Physical examination showed that approximately 43% of his total gross biological tissue had been replaced by iron-sulfur complexes. Talking about his wife. Something about black tentacles. There's a lake and a monster. Permanent attraction to the lake. Blowing the window open. Slowly looks down at his hands before beginning to tremble. They are inside me. They come in through the windows. The room is already filled with them, and they whisper in my ears, mocking to me, calling to me. They want me to go to the lake, to Anna. They say that Anna is in that lake, that Anna is part of them, part of that monster. That monster wants me to be it. I feel like I'm changing. I am a person. Electrical engineer and graduate of the Ohio State University. I'm a person. I'm a human. I'm not part of you. I am not you. Ooh, okay. So this is they're exploring the lake now. Submersible descends to a depth of 18 meters and discovers a school of fish. All the individuals are covered with black material and have a large number of forked tentacles and sarcoma-like structures. 2 entities are fish skeletons covered by black fibers. No fish are seen below 20 meters. Submersible accidentally makes contact with a chain-like structure. And its surfacing system is damaged irreparably, so they can't recover it. Still frame at 1852 in the same frame after adjusting the exposure. Black fibrous structures at the large mechanical-like entity can be seen in the upper right corner of the frame. Large number of complex net-like structures are observed filling the area below its depth. Camera captures a cumulative total of 3 similar giant cylindrical entities swimming far in the distance. Camera changes to total blackness, and a few seconds later the submersible loses its signal. So there's something in this black death lake that's mutating all these creatures. So now we're back to the prisoner of interest. 5 days after his initial interview, his internal structure had completely changed in composition. All of his original nerves, blood vessels, and other tissues, had been replaced by completely different tissues formed out of 6217B substances, and his organs had transformed completely into structures never before seen. Prisoner of interest body suddenly shattered and collapsed. Fragmentation produced a large number of black spherical droplets of varying sizes. They then recoiled and slowly clustered together toward that aggregate and merged together. The amorphous aggregate forms into a singular entity with an appearance similar to Redacted. A large number of rotating gear-like structures can be seen on its surface interconnected by encircling fibrous structures. The disc-like structure in the entity's face moves at high speed, driving its thousands of tree-like cable structures to move. It quickly entangles the 2 guards and captures 12 more people, moving back towards New Stony Lake. All 15 are considered lost. Alright, so now we have a concept of this creepy black mutate monster technological nightmare. Let's see what the substance is. 6217B refers to a class of complicated substances based on iron-sulfur cluster compounds, found exclusively within New Stony Lake. Derivative substances have been found in body tissues, structures on skin, secretions, and excretions. Entities have been found to produce samples of 6217B. Substances are a pathogen of 6217A. They are not thermodynamically stable and cannot exist outside of a vacuum environment. Their presence within 6217 is considered an anomalous phenomenon. And then here's all the different types of substances. Dude, this is chemistry! This is awesome! This is like actual chemistry. B1 refers to the basic and most prevalent components of B, which are chain-like polymers of different size and molecular weights formed by several iron-sulfur atom clusters. They're soluble in water and are considered the cause of the rusty brown color of the lake. Substance is an Fe6S8 cluster, connected to each other by sulfur atoms, forming chain-like multiples of different sizes and charges. Small molecules can replace the water molecules and function as ligands. So they're molecules that act as they're self-replicants, and they mutate and completely replace organic matter. It is impossible to synthesize compounds with normal iron and sulfur-containing precursors. If these normal iron and sulfur-containing materials are mixed with the anomalous compounds, the tendency to spontaneously assemble will rise significantly. They can also pass on this anomalous property to other normal and iron-sulfur atoms upon contact. B2. A kind of molecular aggregate based on iron-sulfur clusters that behave similar to molecular machines, such as motors and bearings. So they're like nanobots. Or yeah. Dumbbell-shaped B2 entities. Tens of thousands of B2 incidents with different structures and functions have been identified. Experimental and observational results are still contrary to theoretical prediction. Simulations have also failed to reproduce their observed motions, which may indicate that further investigation of the underlying physical mechanisms of the motion is needed. B3. Vesicle-like structures of varying sizes formed by the spontaneous aggregation of B2 instances. B3 entities behave similar to organic space cells, and they have the ability to act autonomously and ingest similarly composed matter. Under high concentrations, it tends to aggregate spontaneously to perform necklace-like B4 structures. It's like, wait a second. It's like a ferrofluid. It's like evil mutating ferrofluid. SCP-B4 will attack regular creatures, resulting in them becoming infected with 6217A. They will further merge and assemble into more complex B4 entities. It will release some of its B2 instances to the body of the host, or will rapidly affect the organism, turning them to an instance of A1. They ingest large amounts of iron and sulfur to synthesize more B2, so it doesn't come out of nothing. Conservation of matter and all that. When A1 instance enters its final stage of infection, they will be compelled to enter into New Stony Lake. Once they reach the water, B substances will be released into the lake, completing the reproduction process of B4. So it's like evil ferrofluid. B5 is the theorized final form produced by the self-assembly process of B substances. B5 is suspected to be related to the giant black entity at the bottom of the lake. Documents pertinent to relevant groups of interest. So this is another POI. Wait. I left the broken church years ago. I'm still retaining my devotion to the broken god. It's the church. It's the mech church. So if you don't know what context this is, so there is a Church of the Broken God in the SCP canon, which is essentially a bunch of cultists who come together and are trying to resurrect their mechanical god because they feel that the devices of the flesh are too weak and they need to replace all organic matter with mechanical matter. So bringing up the broken god is like a huge revelation with this. People seem to have left the broken church as well as several other branches inside the catastrophe of 1945. We can call gears, tracks, bearings, and balls mechanical, but that does not cover the full spectrum of the word's meaning. The god of brokenness is the master of it all, the will of nature. You are joining in this too. What is a Hollows field? The electromagnetic field of God, the glue used to connect all beings in the world, the loving touch of the hands of the broken one. You're saying this anomaly is an electromagnetic field. It is not a disease, it is symbiosis. We are the same, us. So it's like... Oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. It is not us doing this, it is the will of God himself. This lake is to become the primordial soup of the broken god's light. Apart we are broken, united we are God. Ah, okay. And then there's addendums 7 and 8. So yeah, so it breaks down that it's an anomalous, it's actually an electromagnetic field that's affecting these iron-sulfur clusters. Tiny rod-like B4 entities moving in culture fluid. And then they experiment with it. Destroyed with nuclear weapon. No place left for us to escape to. Oh, shit. So that doomsday up top. Oh, so this is a full-on doomsday scenario. The following was left written in Dr. Alexander Chugayev's blackboard along with a series of indecipherable locations. We are the missing pieces and we shall return to repair him. Wow. Wow. The broken god awaits. Holy hell. Okay, that turned from something that seemed like it was going about 5 different directions to a tie-in to one of the biggest general antagonists of the entire SCP like thing. Hold on, I actually have to delete one of these. Apologies for the scuff. This is all very, very new to me. Need to add a new text thing. Let's add another text thing. Yeah, but so that's cool because it combines chemistry as well, which is actually nuts. And that's terrifying. Because the revelation there is that that's awesome. I'm super involved in that. I obviously didn't read the whole thing, because dang is it a long story. But just that revelation at the end that it was a Church of the Broken God tie-in. Oh, that's so cool. That is super cool. What is this? This was SCP 6217, right? Yeah, 6217. Oh, that was awesome. That was awesome. I think just because of how cool that all was, I'm going to put this in the 10 out of 10. That is a huge bump from all the stuff that we know about the Church of the Broken God. That's awesome. All right. Before I go to the next article, I'm going to prepare the next text file. I actually know the pattern now, so it's not going to take as long. Yeah, I think I'm only going to be able to do like 10, which is fine. I didn't think that I'd get one of the ones that was going to take this long, to be honest. But, you know, that's why this website's awesome, because there's so much here, and every story has its own beginning, middle, and end. And some of them are super interesting, and some of them aren't. But stuff like that. He threw chemistry in there! That's so cool! Like, actual chemistry concepts. All right. We still have the number generator. Let's see what we get for the next one. Let me actually, what was it? Head on back to the previous page. All right, next one is, I'm going to say this one doesn't exist either. Wow, it loves the top half of this list. 7572. Yeah, none. All right. Give us another one. 1951. All right, let's bring the page back up here. Oopsie. Let me bring these underneath. Do you see what I mean with scuff? I'm very not used to this. All right. 1951. 1951. Nuclear family. Okay, this is a short one. Good. SCP-1951, Class Euclid. Containment procedures. The Bezahov nuclear power facility and the 5-mile perimeter surrounding it is fenced and monitored by security cameras. Radiation sensors wired to alarms provide an early warning system in case of an unlikely containment breach. Guard posts located on the perimeter are manned by personnel armed with GV-20 EMP emitters to subdue 1951 should the need arise. Description. The phenomenon documented around 1951 was discovered after the previously condemned and vacated Bezahov power plant's nuclear reactor once again became active. Radiation levels in faculty grounds are lethal, and all study must be done with exploratory drones. Photos transmitted from the main chamber of the facility reveal filaments growing around the reactor cores. Figures visually similar in composition to 1951A are visible within the cores. 1951A is observed to be wandering to and from each core. Entities commonly spotted on the site grounds are best described as translucent humanoid figures. The first documented figure is frequently observed walking the grounds leisurely, sitting on the walkway benches, and in one occurrence appeared to be smoking something in the shape of a cigar. The figure, 1951A, does not appear hostile, sometimes waving at and approaching guards. As a result, several guards have since been treated for severe radiation poisoning. Yeah, maybe don't touch the radioactive man. 1951A obliged guards' orders to keep its distance after seeing it had inadvertently killed 2 of the men. Communication is not successful. It appears the composition of the entity itself is not permitting of the manufacture of sound. No physical testing can be done due to the harmful and incorporeal nature of the entity. Gunshots pass through the body and explosives appear to destroy the being temporarily, with it reconstituting itself shortly afterwards. The all-mass site remains functional 8 months after the unexplained reactivation, and SCP-1951 persists. Following documentations outline observations over this time. Perimeter log. New entity has been sighted on the ground, similar in appearance to 51A. The entity often accompanies 51A, the two appearing to converse and make demonstrative physical contact with each other. Entity will henceforth be referred to as 51B. 2 smaller figures in appearance emerge from the cargo bay of the facility and appear to chase each other and make harmless physical offensives on one another. 51A and 51B emerge from the ground behind the 2 figures, appearing to surprise them. After hearing a low-frequency moan similar to human speech, the group fades from the sight. Radiation from the facility triggered false alarms on 5 separate occasions, suggesting an increased amount of output from 51. After the appearance of 3 more similar entities, including another humanoid figure, Command began monthly scheduled purges of the facility. The facility was subjected to rounds of GV-20 EMP grenades. As of the recording of this log, all entities save for 1951A have been eliminated or disabled, not including the entities located within the reactor chamber. Audio recovered from the exploratory drone. The tapes the drone recovered were found within the supervisor's office. No speech can be made out and appears to be composed of nothing save for white noise. When the drone returned, its housing was laced with strings of glowing filament that were previously observed in the reactor core. These strings were arranged in such a way to form a series of English letters. The sentence reads as follows: "You've left Alexei all alone." Since the incident, no further communication from 1951 has been documented. Oh, that kind of hits hard. Okay. So the context for that is, I would assume it's these definitely deceased people who are, like, part of the nuclear fallout that have, come back as ghosts, like radioactive ghosts, and they are stuck in this state where they can't communicate, but they can communicate with each other. And the Foundation, in its brilliant idea of trying to contain the entities, has inadvertently killed most of them and left one of them alone, which is very, very sad. And for how short that was very solid. That is very solid. That's good storytelling. If you can pick apart the pieces, that is really well done. So yeah, I'd say that's a really solid one. Man, this is fun so far. Yeah, no, we're only doing 10. There's no way we're doing more than 10. That Broken God one took up so much time. I'm so sorry. I was so invested in that. All right. So next one is going to be... Oh, it was 1837. I'm going to ignore what we're seeing right now. But it was 1837. So let's go back to list 2. Hold on a second. And let's scroll down to 1837. Acid mop. Acid mop. Okay. Object class, safe. 1837 is suspended in a liquid containment unit located within Site-77 safe SCP wing. Currents are to be created within this unit, keeping it suspended in the center of the unit at all times. Daily maintenance is performed to ensure no mechanical errors occur. In the event 1837 breaches containment, security teams with hoses are to bombard the affected area with a basic solution until it can be recontained. Fire extinguishing system may also be activated. Diluted samples of its excretions are being contained in Site-77's Chemical Hazard Research Center, where they are available for testing and are currently used for containment of SCP-122. I will not be going to this article, but they do tend to often interlink with each other. All right. SCP-1837 is a cleaning mop with a handle constructed out of wood and the mop portion of wool cloth. The head portion of 1837 is constantly exuding an acidic liquid. Any solid surface coming into direct contact with this acid will disintegrate over a period of several hours, depending on the composition of the material. If exposed to other liquids, the effect will be reduced, with complete dilution occurring when 1837's acid is at, 10,000 parts per million. Okay. Which is... Actually, that's pretty diluted. When exposed to environments affected by its effect, 1837 will become animate and attempt to repair the damage or disfigurement the acid has caused. 1837 achieves motion by autonomously gliding along smooth surfaces. It is unable to move past simple barricades, but due to its effects, most obstacles will eventually be destroyed. Occasionally, other behaviors will be observed by 1837, such as attempting to prevent itself from coming into contact with a solid surface, obtaining various cleaning materials to try and remove 1837 too, and hiding when the human subject discovers it. In addition, 1837 has been observed cleaning rubble and other damages created by its effect or outside sources. 1837 was contained after containment breached by 039 in 1957, and E2450. During the recontainment procedures, 1837 was surrounded by a large pool of its own acid. Containment specialists have theorized that 1837 had been created by cross-exposure to the anomalous effects, or had been planted in Site-77 by outside forces during the breach. Addendum. Site-77 was assaulted by individuals believed to be connected to the redacted group. 1837's containment was accidentally breached as part of explosive entry, and appeared to hover over the rubble before rapidly progressing behind the intruders, attempting to remove the rubble they left behind. It reached the redacted, where they were engaging on-site security, and proceeded to transmute the floor they were under into a pool of acid, causing 11 deaths and 6 casualties. This effectively ended the incident and allowed MTF Psi-7 to restore containment. Oh, okay. So it's an acid mop that helps the Foundation by being sentient. Honestly, that's pretty interesting. So it's going to go in the pretty interesting tier. I need to add an outline to this. Hold on. But yeah, that's going to go in the pretty interesting tier. Honestly, that's just kind of funny. That it's a sentient mop that creates acid. So not all the articles have to be like top of their game, crazy lore, obviously. That one was just kind of funny. I like the funny ones sometimes. It breaks up the pace. Oop, hold on. It breaks up the pace of the very grimdark articles that there tend to be sometimes. Because there's a lot of really dark stuff on this wiki, but at the same time there is stuff that's not nearly as bad. Like for instance, SCP-999, which is essentially a adorable little slime creature that is super friendly, and when you hug it, it makes you feel good. I would know. I have him as a plushie, just to show that I am completely invested in this whole thing. All right. Based on the fact that the randomizer has already selected the next one, because I did that like an idiot, the next one on the list is 5476. So I'm actually going to enter that in early. SCP 5476. There we go. Make sure that it's got the right outline color. All right. We're going to drag it over here for now, and we're going to bring the article up. This is in set 6, 5476. What, did you see that? Megalomania. Oh, that said Megalovania. 5476. SCP explained. Okay. SCP-5476, Object Class Keter. Special Containment Procedures. Technobabble.aic has been assigned to reverse any edits made to Foundation database by SCP-5476 events. Description. SCP-5476 is an anomalous phenomenon in which pages in the SCP Foundation database are edited to include footnotes to clarify the meanings of various words. These edits are not made by any registered user and available to bypass password-protected articles. In some cases, SCP-5476 events have occurred in paper documents, replicating the ink used in the page. It is unknown if 5476 elements are caused by a sentient entity. As you can see as I'm reading this, they're all footnotes. There are footnotes all over this thing. The first 5476 event occurred on 7/3/21 during an incident with an experimental AIC. Junior researcher Blank developed crystal.aic for the purpose of teaching new staff members the meanings of complicated terms used in official Foundation documents. During testing, the AIC attempted to identify a memetic hazard and immediately deactivated. Roughly an hour later, the AIC came back online and completed edits to the page, as well as numerous other unneeded definitions. All files related to the AIC were deleted, and 5476 events began to occur in other Foundation documents. Whoa! Alright, so let's read through some of these footnotes. Footnote 1. SCP-5476. Anomalies in the custody of the SCP Foundation are referred to by a 3 or 4-digit number for organizational purposes. Keter. The class above Euclid. This means the anomaly in question is very difficult to contain, but not necessarily dangerous to human life or normalcy. Okay. This article is actually super useful for, like, people who have never seen the SCP stuff before. Containment procedures. This section of the document describes how to best prevent the anomaly from threatening normalcy or human life. In the event that the anomaly is not a threat to normalcy or human life, this section describes how to prevent the anomaly from activating its anomalous effects. Technobabble. Artificially intelligent construct, an advanced computer program capable of replicating human behavior. The SCP Foundation uses AIC in many ways, including facility management and updating Foundation documents. A website dedicated to cataloging the anomalous items in the custody of the SCP Foundation. This website can be accessed at the website that we're at right now. Oh my gosh, okay. Description. This section of the document describes the physical characteristics of the anomaly as well as its anomalous effects. Footnotes. Small numbers or asterisks that, when moused over or followed to the bottom of the page, will show extra information on the subject. These notes are often used for additional context or to add comments without breaking the flow of the document. Articles. Such as SCP-3125, which can only be accessed fully if the user enters the code 5555. Sentient entity. A being capable of rational thought and emotion, such as a human or anomalously modified AIC. Discovery. The section of the document describes how the Foundation became aware of the anomaly. 7/03/21. The seventh day of March in the year 2021, or the 3rd day of July in the year 2021, depending on which country this document was written in. Junior researcher. Low-ranking, often new researchers for the SCP Foundation. Redacted title. Black box is used to cover up sensitive information. In this case, the black box was used because Scott Wilkins requested to not have his name associated with the creation of a Keter anomaly. Crystal.aic. Meant as a low-effort pun on the term crystal clear and the human name Crystal. Okay. Complicated terms, such as esoteric object classes and color-based humanoid anomaly codes, which are very difficult for new and old Foundation staff to memorize. Fair. Memetic hazard. A complex image that, when viewed, causes an autonomous reaction in the viewer. These reactions can range from memory loss to death, and are therefore often used to defend sensitive information for those without proper clearance and memetic resistance. Some memetics can have varying effects on non-human observers. An hour. 60 minutes! 3,600 seconds! Okay. I'm not reading the big numbers. I'm good. Unneeded. Numerous new staff members struggle to understand the complex scientific language used by the SCP Foundation. Oh my gosh, okay. Like I said, that was just funny. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm moving myself. But that was just funny. Purely for laugh factor, I'm gonna put that in pretty interesting. I wouldn't say it's a very involved article, but dude, giving the fact, oh, let's go back really quickly. The fact that his name is blocked out and it goes Scott Wilkins, just straight out, that, oh my god, that's gold. That's gold. You gotta give him that. That's gold. Oh man. Oh, I love that we're getting funny articles. I was expecting like all creepy ones. I'm very glad we got some funny ones too, though. That spices things up. Ugh. I don't even know how to read the numbers. Like, maybe it's quadrillion seconds? Quadrillion something seconds? I don't know. I can't read big numbers that fast. Okay. Random number generator. Go. 5228. So back in Series 5 again. Bring the article back up. 5228. A pizza that's all... Dude, are we gonna get only comedy ones? Alright, let's see. SCP-5228. Object class Thaumiel, which means I think it's used to contain other entities. 5228 is kept inside a high-value storage unit in Site-15. The unit is to remain locked, and the combination is to be changed bi-weekly. Only personnel with level 3 security clearance or above are allowed to access 5228. 5228 is not to be used except for testing purposes. 5228A is kept in an observation room in subbasement level 2 of Site-15, is to remain physically connected to Site-15's computer network via wires from a terminal to the center of the object. 5228A is presently under 24/7 video surveillance. 2 technicians are kept on standby in the event of a terminal malfunction. MTF Sigma 458 Noble Forks is tasked with direct containment and operation of the SCP, with utensils, plates, and napkins to be provided upon request. Description: 5228 is a cheese pizza measuring 40 centimeters in diameter. 5228's toppings include pepperoni, peppers, olives, onions, dragon fruit, chocolate, cow tongue, cough medicine, and steak grilled sliders. 5228 maintains a constant internal temperature of 60 C and has shown no signs of spoilage during the duration of its containment. The SCP is located within a pizza box belonging to the Spicy Crust Pizzeria chain, a Foundation front company. Separation of 5228 from the box has proven unfeasible, as the strands of cheese connecting both objects are apparently indestructible. When the box is opened, 5228 will mimic the functions of a laptop computer. The underside of the lid will first display an imprinted image of a circular arrow rotated in clockwise motion. This occurs for a period ranging from 30 seconds up to 1 minute, after which the arrow will be replaced by a graphical user interface. The interface features the Spicy Crust Pizzeria logo in the center, with 5 icons on the left side of the lid. These icons are activated through the use of the image of a cursor. Cursor can be manipulated via the insertion of a connector of the computer mouse into one of the two... This is a pizza! This whole thing is a pizza! Let me just reiterate that. The cursor's movements is limited to the confines of the lid. Below is the list of icons found on the lid. Flatword, Bread Box, Pasta Panic, Wing Shop. The most noteworthy icon is SliceNet, represented by a slice of pizza rotating around the Earth at high speed. This icon activates a web browser capable of accessing the internet as well as remotely accessing any computer or data storage system. It can bypass any security lock, negate any alarm notifications, and defy attempts to trace and access. These abilities only function when 5228 is within 50 meters of a computer or data storage device. Interesting. So it's a hack pizza. It's a hacking pizza. This is insane. Addendum. 5228 was recovered from a server room doing a raid on a Chaos Insurgency. Of course it's Chaos Insurgency. In Tarbaj, Kenya. 5228 was found resting on a pedestal in the center of multiple painted rings and symbols of thaumaturgic origin. A flash drive was found near the anomaly. The decryption of its contents revealed classified documents belonging to the Foundation and other groups of interest. So they used thaumaturgy to turn a pizza into a hacking computer. 5228 was used by the Chaos Insurgency in a long-term operation to consist in coordinating attacks that was meant to establish an intelligence racketeering ring. It had been concluded the symbols surrounding it during recovery were based on Spitty-class thaumaturgy. Revolves around establishing connections to certain objects, places, and entities between 2 points of space-time with the use of metaphysical anchors. Yeah, so they merged a laptop with a pizza. It has been theorized its anomalous properties allowed to convert covert access to SciPnet. Security measures were put in place to prevent such a scenario from recurring. Project delivery. In 2014, it became apparent that computer networks of many Foundation sites were deficient in the areas of protection against cyber-related threats. The director of Site 15, Carlos Mendez, drafted a proposal detailing the potential use of 5228 to improve the site's computer networks. This proposal was sent to the O5 Council, and by a vote of 7-4, the measure passed. Over 2 years of modification via thaumaturgy, paratechnological implementations, and cross-testing with other SCP objects, Project Delivery culminated in the creation of 5228A, which was then connected to Site 15's computer network for a test of its capabilities. Though this action was initially met with skepticism, 5228A provided a highly valuable asset for Site 15. It requires no electricity to operate and has reduced energy costs by 30%. Awesome stuff, guys. It offers vast storage capabilities without any known limit and can compute data faster and more accurately than the world's most powerful This is a pizza! After Project Delivery was deemed a success, Sigma 458 was formed and tasked with protecting 5228 and A, as well as surveying Site 15's network for any irregularities as to act as a safeguard against cyber attacks. 5228A is a pizza measuring, 3.5 meters in diameter. It was originally plain cheese, but upon discovery that an application of a wide variety of toppings increases its anomalous capabilities, they added pepperoni, onions, bacon, olives, basil, peppers, ham, anchovies, breath mints, vanilla pudding, Viagra, ice cream, additional slices of pizza, and pineapple. I can do everything except the pineapple. For shame, for shame. 5228A retains the same physical properties as 5228, with the exception that any portion of movement will regenerate after a period of 5 seconds. While consuming, subjects report receiving visions and hallucinations relating to Site 15's computer network. Subjects have reported a mental interface consisting of words and numbers constructed from green light against an like a hacker man. Subjects can mentally traverse across the network via links in the files. Testing has confirmed that subjects can witness attempts to hack and infect the network with malware in real time, and can eliminate these threats without significant delay. Affected subjects can also fully control any non-anomalous electronic device by making physical contact with their tongue. All anomalies cease when digestion is complete. Complications. Following reports that more than half of Sigma 458 has become obese and lethargic because they keep eating the computer pizza. It's been advised that task force members be rotated on a regular basis, and mandatory exercise regimens are also advised. Sigma 458 has also reported a severe aversion to cheese after long-term consumption of 5228A. Research on whether this is a result of the anomalous effect or not is ongoing. Ugh. So it's a gross thaumaturgy pizza that turns you into Hacker Man when you eat it. This is the most insane... Like, what? How do you even come up with this stuff? It's a pizza, bro. I'm gonna put it also in the pretty interesting tier, because it's not, like, super involved, but it's very funny. That tier's filled up so fast. Like, okay, so we're up to 6. That was article number 6. 3 of them have been hee-haw funny. 3 out of 6. Half of the articles that it randomly selected have been funny. That's not how this site works. That's just what's happening. I cannot believe, like, I had all this ambiance set up. I had everything to where it was like, ooh, we're gonna read some scary articles. Like, even the thumbnail was showing off half of the scary ones. And I've gotten thaumaturgy pizza, self-explanatory footnotes. Like, come on now. Ugh, all right. I'm having a great time. This is all very fun. All right, next one. Let's see what we get. 4266. All right, finally one of the 4s. Oh, let me bring the page back up. There we go. 4266. Almost there. 4266. The thing that makes you kill people. I'm very concerned. The planet Earth now abandoned. is the most specific known location of SCP-426. All right, so you've already got my attention. SCP-4266, Object Class Keter. The Earth is to remain abandoned by the general public. A network of monitoring satellites is to be maintained, each equipped with standard orbital capture devices. These satellites will detect and ward off any ships attempting to land on Earth and will non-lethally incapacitate any that continue in their attempt. Any crew aboard these ships are to be extracted, taken to the nearest spaceport, and having nestics administered. A small number of Foundation personnel are to be permitted from staying on Earth in order to continue research into 4266. Each of these personnel to remain physically isolated from each other and must be continuously monitored. Okay. 4266 is an as-yet unknown anomalous vector present exclusively on the planet Earth that causes lowered levels of empathy between sapient life. This vector is believed to be a compulsion effect responsible for virtually all historic violent interaction between humans. Yeah. Number of interactions resulting in less lethal physical harm is too high to be countable. It's funny how it has to explain violent interaction. 4266 was first discovered in 2080, 5 years after the first successful Martian colony was established. It was noticed that the level of violent crime was far below the expected average, despite socioeconomic disparities in complex interpersonal relationships that were previously thought to be factors in such acts. Psychological testing revealed that colonists had massively increased levels of empathy as compared to baselines performed on Earth. This was initially thought to be an anomalous effect of Mars 1, but after similar effects were noted on subsequent colonies established on the Moon, Io, Ganymede, and the various spaceports of the asteroid belt, it was concluded that the effect was instead localized exclusively to Earth. Attempts to isolate this effect to a specific object or region have thus far been unsuccessful. No obvious pattern of violent behavior exists, apart from self-apparent ones, such as increased levels of violence as the population density of a particular region increases. What the heck? Okay. So, well, we can't prove that this isn't real, because we all live on Earth. And everyone who's not on Earth, I don't know, do we have direct testimony from them? Like the people in the ISS? Do we have direct testimony that say that they're not, they don't have a disposition for violence now that they're off Earth? Who knows? Immediate Foundation reaction. The Foundation determined that making this knowledge public will have a detrimental effect on humanity as a whole. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. In particular, it was noted that the revelation that all human violence was externally compelled would lead to a breakdown in faith in existing justice systems, in turn leading to potential destabilization of world governments. Furthermore, a number of dictatorial regimes that depended on the existence of violence to continue functioning would have forcibly denied the truth of 4266, and the following conflict would have likely resulted in the eruption of many violent skirmishes. Accepting 4266's existence would result in a frantic attempt by humanity as a whole to escape its effect by going into space. Right. The existing colonies would not have been able to support such a mass exodus, and their resources would quickly deplete. Accordingly, until a long-term strategy had been put into the effect, the Foundation decided to obscure 4266's effect by simulating the effects of violent crime in the non-terrestrial colonies. Oh, okay. Yeah, so they're falsifying the data to make sure that there's no difference between what Earthlings see and what the rest of the colonies see. Foundation agents simulated non-fatal harm by engaging in consensual physical altercations in public and faking the results of such altercations in private. Right, using cosmetics and other things. Fatal harm was simulated using corpses that had died of natural causes that were then staged to appear to be victims of violence. Foundation agents also infiltrated the upper leadership of colonist peacekeeping forces in order to artificially inflate reported violent crime statistics. As a final measure, the Foundation created the popular New World, New Respect propaganda campaign in an attempt to explain away the observable increase in empathy in more altruistic terms. As a result of this campaign, simulated violence has been gradually phased out, with the public explanation that humanity has simply evolved past violence gradually. Huh. Interesting. So as more people left Earth, they became less violent, but they had to explain it away, or else, like, the entirety of Earth would go crazy. Evacuation. In 2106, the Foundation determined that the most reasonable long-term strategy for humanity would be to eventually abandon Earth entirely. The first phase of the strategy was to build up the colonial infrastructure so it could support its population. The phase was initially estimated to take centuries, but proceeded at a much more rapid pace than projected due to increased empathy levels resulted in heightened levels of cooperation. Man, I wish that was the case in, real life. After noting this, the Foundation decided to share information about SCP-4266 with selected members of the colonial governments. Once they understood the nature of it, colonial leadership agreed with the strategy and worked with the Foundation to complete the work within a matter of decades. Damn! Future science, be quick! The second phase involved convincing Earth's population to migrate to the colonies. Simply informing them of F-426's existence was likely to lead to mass hysteria, so they created Design Operation Farron. It posited that an unknown genetic disease endemic to Earth was starting to cause mass infertility, and the only way to... so lie to the public to get them to escape. The story was aided by the targeted disease of a Foundation-developed chemical compound called Redacted 31, which caused a temporary reversible inhibition of human fertility. The subsequent plummet in pregnancy rates lent credence to the Operation Farron and resulted in the voluntary migration of 90% of Earth. Wow. Wait, didn't they do something similar? The whole infertility thing. Did they do something similar in that one British show? Pyrocynical covered it. Wow, I cannot remember. It's got what the hell? It's got that really cool color. I just genuinely cannot remember that British TV show. Wow, hold on. Sorry, I really need to look this up now. But it's like fear-mongering the public into doing what you want by lying to their face. What the hell is it called? Pardon me, excuse me. What the hell is it called, man? I found the video. Oh, come on. What the hell is the title of this show, man? Why is my memory so bad, bro? Oh, I'm super mad. What is the name of the show? Oh, come on. If you've seen Pyrocynical's very 7.5 hour long video going over it, yeah, it is a fantastic little show, and that's like the main plot point. Oh, Utopia. Oh, okay, it was Utopia. Sorry, but yeah, you essentially give the public a drug that makes them infertile to try to like bring about a new world order. But in this case, they did it for the sake of getting people to flee Earth because of a crazy, like, anomalous, everybody's violent disease. Anyway, sorry. I really wanted to remember the name of that because that show, at least his coverage of it, it was really fun, really interesting to watch. Not really fun. Is a very dark show. But it was really interesting to watch, and I cannot believe I forgot the name of the show. Back to Operation Farron. The Foundation was formulating a plan to convince the remaining 10% when the rogue terrestrial Foundation cell released Blank 22, an earlier rejected form of the compound that resulted in complete sterility across the globe. This is what I meant. These actions have been officially condemned by Foundation Command. Those responsible were extracted from Earth and remained in custody, and the manufacture of all forms has been discontinued. However, the practical result of these actions was a complete acceptance of Operation Farron's cover story. Follow-up reports to migrate the remaining population was met with much less resistance, and eventually only a few 100,000 humans remained. By 2271, the last of these died of natural causes, and Earth was officially abandoned. The third and final phase deals with Earth post-abandonment. It was judged vital to understand the cause of the effects in order to ensure it would not repeat elsewhere, so a small team of Foundation personnel continues to operate on Earth. Furthermore, the Earth is designated a quarantine zone for all discovered anomalies that could pose a physical danger to humanity. Any such anomalies to be moved to Earth with the moment violent behavior manifests. And then we have a piece from the Ethics Committee. 3 simple words. It boils down as it always does. You've heard these words your entire life. Their familiarity may even make them cliche to you. I would ask that you sincerely consider them now. Consider what they mean for yourself, for our mission, and for our humanity as a whole. Secure, contain, protect. Wow. So this whole thing is like a moral quandary. And it's the idea that what if we as human beings are naturally disposed for good, and something on Earth has caused us to be evil and hate each other, right? Actually, because of the message, I'm gonna put that in a very solid tier. I apologize for the Utopia distraction. I was not intending for me to dwell on that for as long as I did, but I really wanted to remember what the name of that show was, because I felt like an idiot. I felt like an idiot for not remembering what it was. Ugh. I feel like such a tool. All right, we have 3 more to go. And I hope we get another like super dark one like we did for the for 6217 with the Church of the Broken God stuff. All these articles are have been really fun, especially the funny ones. I was not expecting to laugh today. I really was not expecting to laugh today. Okay. So let's hit the randomizer again and see what we get. 4313, another in the 4s. It likes to give me them sequentially. I don't know why. All right. 4313. Stormy Seas in the Milky Way. Another space one. Ooh, I like this. I like this aesthetic. Ad astra per aspera. To the stars through hardship. SCP-4313. Object class Euclid. Containment procedures. 6 monitoring probes, each equipped with ecto-illuminator equipment. What the hell is that? Generate electric currents interacting with ectoplasm. Okay. Are in orbits that pass by several known edges of 4313. Thrusters to provide any course corrections necessary after ectoplasm collisions. What, so they're ghosts in space? All probe control is to be performed remotely. No Foundation personnel are permitted to enter or approach the anomaly. In coordination with NASA, cover-ups regarding the phenomena surrounding the Pioneer 11 space probe have been disseminated. Details on Pioneer 11's acceleration changes were altered to appropriately match the non-anomalous ones experienced by Pioneer 10 due to radiation pressure. The overhead Zeta monitoring probe is following a parallel trajectory to 4313Z through interstellar space, dispatched to observe projectile bursts from the anomaly. Foundation cover-up protocols are in place to attribute related high-energy particle bursts to other astronomical phenomena. 4313Z's behavior does not impact the solar system. No further containment for it is necessary. Huh. Also, that's Pioneer 11. SCP-4313 is the remnants of an extraterrestrial gigafauna orbiting 20 to 25 astronomical units AU from the sun. If you don't know what AU are... Oh. Never mind. I thought it was going to tell us what an astronomical unit is. An AU is essentially the distance between the Earth and the sun. I believe it's 93 million miles. Sorry, that's imperial units because I'm a filthy American. But that's how you measure large distances in space, at least before you get to parsecs. You use astronomical units, and that's its distance. It is between the orbits of Uranus and Neptune. The body is entirely translucent, preventing accurate research into its anatomy. Approximate measurements for probe intersections estimated between 1 to 2 AU. That thing's huge! Okay. And is composed of clouds of ectoplasm, which collide with any objects or spacecraft passing through them. In addition to the ectoplasm, 4313 contains high concentrations of non-corporeal metaphysical detritus, visually seen by observers within the anomaly's borders as luminescent cyan viscera. Detritus that collides with any sapient subject merges into their body and subsequently disintegrates. This process results in the subject being implanted with variable emotional memories and sensations, believing it had to have originated from 4313 prior to its death. Recorded memories have included limb severance, the sense of being pursued, panic, repeated impalement, inability to speak, plummeting from an extreme height, disorientation, loss of mental concentration, exsanguination, and silence. This is often accompanied by reported imagery of abstract shapes and impossible colors. Confusion resulting from subjects temporarily believing that they are extraterrestrial gigafauna is common. So they go to this giant ghost whale in the sky, and if they touch it, they think they're the giant ghost whale, but also they have like a panic attack. SCP-4313. Oh, hold on. Did I not read that? Reported imagery of abstract shapes and impossible colors. Oh yeah, I didn't read that. Large metaphysical constructs exist in the form of 10 4313Y instances. To observers inside of 4313, these are viewed as elongated red cylinders, possessing a sharpened tip at one end and engines of an indeterminate nature on the other. Instances extend through the width of 4313 irregular patterns, potentially in areas where organ structures used to exist. Subjects that pass through 4313Y instances claim that no need for further chase exists. No need for further chase? What? 4313 was first discovered by the Pioneer 11 space probe, launched by NASA in 1973. Yep. On reaching a distance from 20 AU from the Sun, the probe collided with 4313's ectoplasm clouds and began passing through its mass. Repeated collisions caused deviations in trajectory, decelerating the probe by small but noticeable amounts. No further phenomena was observed until Pioneer 11 reached the 21 AU mark, where probe cameras transmitted a series of images without prompting. The images show the probe's approach toward a 4313Y instance, nearing until reaching the surface. Subsequent images are abstract shapes and mimetic patterns, which when observed are seen as assortments of darkened limbs and hands. Contact dropped for 1 week before returning when Pioneer 11 exited 4313. The exit process was uneventful, and all probe functions resumed as normal. Addendum. On 10/1/2002, soon after the radio signal of Pioneer 11 became too faint to detect, a series of high-energy X-ray bursts were detected from the probe's direction. This repeated on 10/1/2002, 26/09/2015, and on 30 dates from 2020 to 2025. The Messier 002 exploration vessel was sent to the predicted location of the probe on 23/04/2025. Pioneer 11 was found equipped with an array of anomalous weaponry. 9 appendages visually consistent to 4313Y instances radially extended from its chassis, each ending in railguns that fire projectiles at relativistic velocities reaching 0.9 c. That is 9/10 the speed of light. The X-ray bursts originated from the energy released by projectile launches and the collisions the projectiles would have with the surrounding interplanetary medium. Few common trajectories for the projectiles exist. The intended targets are not known. The SCP-4313Z designation for the probe was established in May of 2025. Since then, only one transmission for 4313Z has been recorded. Quiet. Stop whispering above me. I am still hunting. What? What? Oh, okay, I went from intrigued to just straight confused. What happened? What is this thing? I mean, it's good storytelling, but what? I'm gonna put it in pretty interesting, because I genuinely don't know how else to feel about it. It like, at first, it's like space object, like mammoth space object. And then, what? Like, hunt, what do you hunt? What happened? What? I feel like I'd have to know more about the Ad Astra per Aspera stuff to understand the context of that a little bit better, but like, geez. Man, so we went from like, intriguing to dark to funny to just straight confusion. We have officially reached confusion tier. I was really confused with the first one too, but it was less interesting than that. That was interesting, even though it was confusing. 96. Sorry, not SCP-96. If you know what SCP-96 is, I'm just doing behind the scenes stuff. Okay. Oh, 2 more. 2301. What do I recognize? I feel like I recognize that number. 2301. Is this what I think it is? Nope. No, it is not. right, here's 2301. SCP-2301, Object Class Keter. Special Containment... There we go, first tongue tie. Special Containment Procedures. Provisional Containment Zone Delta 3, which leads to, I think, a SCP tail, has been constructed surrounding 2301's manifestation area. At any given time, no fewer than 2 containment teams designated Alpha and Beta must be present with a 3rd relief team on active standby. Alpha team is to be equipped with period-accurate 15th century Japanese lamellar armor and a full set of period-accurate weapons commonly used by the samurai class of feudal Japan. In addition, each containment team member is to receive extensive training in traditional kabuki acting, along with classes in basic Japanese mythology and Shintoism. Beta team is to be equipped with period-accurate 15th century Gothic plate armor and a full set of period-accurate weapons commonly used by the Knights of Feudal Germany. In addition, each containment team member is to receive extensive training in European theater arts along with classes in medieval texts concerning dragons. Is this Knights versus Samurai? During a manifestation event, all personnel must remain in character at all times. Once 2301 is terminated, all personnel must remain in character until all components have been decayed. Should 2301 manifest in a different form, the standby team will be mobilized to determine the method which 2301 should be confronted. D-class personnel will be used to distract 2301 from approaching a population center until a solution can be found. Okay. 2301 is a hostile metamorphic entity that manifests in blank blank every month and takes the form of various antagonists from different fables, plays, or legends, notably that of Japanese and European origin. 2301 cannot be damaged unless it perceives its attackers to correctly be those that it would defeat such a character in the legend or play in which it would be found. Therefore, should 2301 manifest as a European-style dragon, it can only be harmed that it perceives to be medieval knights. Okay. This also applies to containing 2301, in that modern containment procedures such as reinforced Keter-class hostile anomaly chambers can easily be destroyed or bypassed by 2301. 2301 can also, given enough time, destroy period-accurate containment such as chains or cages. 2301 will remain in character as the particular antagonist that is manifested as for the duration of an event. It is critical that personnel remain in character and exchange dialogue with 2301 while in combat with the entity, due to the fact that 2301 will not accept individuals that it perceives as not playing the role to its satisfaction. Once 2301 determines an individual to be insufficiently in character, said individual will be unable to harm SCP-2301 for the duration of the manifestation event. A manifestation event ends when 2301 has been sufficiently damaged to the point at which it can no longer function, causing 2301's body to rapidly decompose. Should one of the individuals that participated in terminating 2301 fail to remain in character until the body has fully decomposed, 2301 will remanifest. Active containment personnel have reported that 2301 is incredibly durable and lethal. 2301 possesses all of the capabilities of the character it chooses to represent in a particular manifestation event, and similarly possesses the same weaknesses. 2301 originally manifested only as a character from Japanese folklore. However, beginning on the date of not available, 2301 began to manifest as creatures from medieval European mythology. Currently, 2301's limits in replicating characters for other cultures is unknown. 2301 most commonly manifests as a Japanese Oni, a type of demon that wields a kanabo in combat. Said creature is noted as incredibly strong in various myths and legends, and is also described as a humanoid entity possessing horns, claws, and blue or red skin coloration. 2301 is roughly 2 meters in height in this form, and has been demonstrated as strong enough to fully collapse a human chest, protected by laminar armor with its kanabo. 2301 second most commonly manifests as European dragon. In this form, 2301 possesses 2 winged forelimbs with a span of 25 meters and 2 clawed hind limbs. 2301 is roughly 7 meters tall in this form and is capable of producing fire in excess of 1,000 C from its throat, though as an yet unknown mechanism. That's cool. 2301's purpose during a manifestation event is currently understood to be complete enmity towards all human life. 2301 has been demonstrated to immediately attempt to navigate towards the largest population center available, and will attempt to kill any human that it encounters. Despite this, 2301 possesses a superb grasp of human culture, specifically Germanic and Japanese history, languages, literature, and mythology. 2301's origin or method of acquiring this information is currently unknown. That one was actually pretty fun, all things considered. You're essentially playing like Dungeons and Dragons in real life. It might not be the most interesting SCP in the world, but for what it offers, it's a open and shut case, so I don't know, I think that's pretty solid. I put that in the pretty solid tier. Again, we haven't gotten anything to surpass 6217. But man, we got one more, so hopes are high. Hopes are high, unless we get like pizza computer again. I really hope we don't get pizza computer again. I'd be very upset. I'd be very, very, very upset. Not that it's not fun to get pizza computer, but like, come on, that's anticlimactic. All right, one more. Will it be good, or will it be still good but not as? 2129. 2129. Hot-blooded snake is what this one's called. Hot-blooded snake. All right, SCP-2129. Object class Euclid. SCP-2129 is to be kept in its dormant state in a specially designed vacuum-sealed container with walls composed of 10 centimeters of tungsten, backed by 1 meter of concrete. The containment chamber requires a self-contained oxygen regulation system in the form of an inert gas fire suppression system. The container must be monitored by no less than 6 thermal cameras at all times without exception, and be equipped by 1 loudspeaker allowing communication in Morse. Morse code? Why? All equipment must be encased in 5 centimeters of blast-resistant laminated glass. Oh, because if they use, like, wires or something, it'll melt, I guess. A 10 meters long corridor must lead to the containment chamber and be designed in the same manner. No personnel is allowed to enter 2129's container while it hasn't been deoxygenated under any circumstances, and must wear sealed bomb units when doing so. In the event of a containment breach, procedure... Is this Finnish? Procedure Perkele 1 is to be initiated under the briefest delays. Perkele Satana. That's Finnish. Those are Finnish swear words. Near site has been built a 150 meters deep, well reinforced, with the same tungsten and ZX composing SCP-2129's container's walls, sealed with a vacuum-tight steel door and hidden by the surrounding vegetation. At the bottom of this well have been placed approximately 20 tons of ANFO. What is ANFO? 2129's demeanor will push it to fly down the well, as it will be attracted by the large quantity of explosives. The well would then be floated with both a set of pumps and Foundation personnel trained for the exercise. Oh, is it like a... Is it a gas to suppress the oxygen? 2129, once confirmed to be neutralized and docile, is to be retrieved from the bottom of the well by a team of 3 staff members specifically trained to retrieve 2129 under such circumstances. SCP-2129 is an invisible entity manifesting itself by a continuous stream of detonations. It possesses the ability to levitate and fly in 3 dimensions. It is able to reach speeds of 152 kilometers per hour. What the hell? Detonations happen continuously while the creature is moving, with a general frequency of 2 per second. The explosion's energy output has been estimated to be in the neighborhood of 5 gigajoules, or the equivalent of 1.2 tons of TNT. It has been theorized that detonating is either its means of energy production or a side effect of it. Likewise, study of the creature's flight patterns have shown changes of directions correlated to its detonations. Thermal cameras show, in the absence of explosions, an oblong, serpentine body approximately a meter long with no other discernible characteristics. Experiments to discover more about the characteristics of the entity's physical body are currently being devised. 2129 necessitates air to detonate. It will do so continuously until it consumed all the available air, after which it will enter a dormant state and only resume activity when more oxygen is available. It is unknown what process the creature uses to create the detonation, as no trace of any known explosive has ever been found to have been emitted by it. The entity appears to be attracted by explosives and explosive substances, and displays an ability to sense them through hard surfaces by an unknown process. 2129 also appears to possess sapience. This is evidenced by its ability to modulate the strength and length of the detonations it emits to communicate in Portuguese, using a rough, sometimes inexact version of Morse code. It is able to communicate in short sentences in this manner and is able to understand messages communicated in the same manner. Portuguese. Extended conversations have revealed that 2129 displays a generally cooperative, melancholic demeanor. mostly expressing frustration concerning its containment and wishes to be released and made able to roam freely. Yeah, I would too if I was an explosive Portuguese lizard. 2129 was captured on sometime in the 2000s, following its destruction of the coastal town of Redacted, Brazil. Oh, that's why it speaks Portuguese. Causing the deaths of blank inhabitants and injuring blank others. The incident was publicly attributed to a terrorist attack by explosives, and efforts to fabricate proof corroborating this version of the facts are still ongoing. All known survivors have been administered standard Class 3 amnesia treatment. The area should be closed off under the pretense of an ongoing investigation. Civilians and possible investigators alike should be discouraged from the premises by any means necessary. Interview log. So we're interviewing the snake. This constitutes the 7th interview conducted with 2129. Good day, 2129. May I have your attention? Cold in here, suffocate. Do you remember the town where we captured you? The town, yes. More oxygen, more space. We have pictures of you before that. Do you remember the military base? Fire, weapons, yes, but not home. Home? The navel of fire, mother's womb. What is this mother? Did it create you? Purpose of existence. Find the pit of fire, reproduction. I was chosen. Is there another of you? Merely an intermediate. Huh? 21291 is a serpentine entity located underneath the southern region of the Amazonian rainforest. A safe way to reach 21291 is currently being devised by site personnel. A sinkhole located above SCP-21291 is the only current known manner to reach it. An extremely complex network of stone tunnels of unknown origins has been dug above and around 21291 with the supposed purpose of stopping potential intruders from reaching the entity. Hundreds of human skeletons have been found in the tunnels. And there's a footnote for that says carbon dating has been shown that some of these skeletons date as far back as Holocene, pre-Holocene. SCP-21291 appears to produce large amounts of heat. Extensive geothermal analyses have uncovered heat patterns consistent with underground volcanic hotspots, while geological studies have shown the entity measure length in the neighborhood of 10 kilometers. Giant underground hot snake. 21292 is to be guarded by 3 armed guards at all times. Following incident 212901, all the vegetation of 50-meter radius around 21292 is to be burnt down, and the number of guards quadrupled. Here's the incident. On sometime in the 2000s, 4 men armed with bladed weapons attempted to enter 21292 at 52, using the area's dense vegetation as cover. The 4 intruders killed one of the guards and injured another. 2 intruders were gunned down and 1 subdued and captured. The 4th one managed to enter 2129. Reinforcements were called to pursue the 4th intruder and take the subdued attacker into Foundation custody. An exploration team was sent into 21292 but failed to capture the intruder. The exploration team was then tasked with guarding the sinkhole leading to 21292. Stronger thermal activity from 21291 was recorded after the incident. The detainee was vaccinated for most common diseases immediately after detainment. Here's the detainee. A detainee is 20 to 25-year-old Amerindian man, 181 centimeters tall and weighing 64 kilograms. He has so far refused to communicate his name or tribe of origin and speaks a bastardized version of Brazilian Portuguese, as well as an unknown language resembling the Xavante Amerindian language. Begin log. Good evening. I suppose you haven't decided to tell us your name? I haven't. Right, let's get to the meat of this then. Why did you enter the sinkhole? I heard in your voice you hate me for that man who died. We did not want to kill, but you were here with your weapons. We knew that you would never have let us into the navel, so we attacked, and my brother made it. This is irrelevant. Why did you try to enter the sinkhole? The navel. The progenitor's intermediate was lost, so she needed another. Excuse me, but the intermediate? The Serpent of Fire. You would not know what I'm speaking of. I think we do, actually. It destroyed that town, Redacted. We're studying it at this very moment, but tell me, what is its purpose? The liquid fire deep within the land moves. It shifts. It is the origin of life, the first warmth. No life could be without it. But as the woman cannot give life without a man's seed, so can't the land. My brother will find the way. I don't know much about Brazilian mythology, but if I had to take a guess, this is based off of a mythological figure, or is at least adjacent to one. I'm gonna... Hold on, I need to move these. Uh-oh. Sorry, I moved the whole slide over. I am going to shift these over a little bit. I didn't mean to do that. Told you this scuff. I'm going to shift these over a little bit, and I'm going to add this to the very solid column. Actually, hold on. Let me get rid of this. Yeah, so this is going to go in the... God, I'm so sorry. Yeah, in the very solid column. Because I believe it deserves to be there, because it tells like a mythological story. I honestly have no context for it, but that doesn't mean it wasn't interesting, because it was. And with that, we have 10 SCP articles under our belts. Some of them were very interesting. One of them was very confusing, but also interesting. And another was just kind of confusing. And then there was the Church of the Broken God one, which I'm still... Oh, that one was so good. That one was so good. Okay. So yeah, that about does it for the random SCP articles. There was a lot here. There was some really, really interesting stuff and some very funny stuff. But since I have a little bit more time, I did want to share one other article that I wouldn't say is like the cream of the crop, but is super interesting in context. So let me grab it really quickly. Because the concept behind it is actually insane. Because it's not just the SCP article itself. There's like a backstory to it. But I really wanted to show it off on stream because it's super interesting, and we're gonna try to get through as much as possible because it is kind of a long one. The article in question, and I already know where I'm going to place it in the tier list, is SCP... Oh, that's the wrong font. Pardon me. The article in question is SCP-184, also known as the Architect. So, as you can see, there's a tale here, which goes into the backstory of why this SCP is so influential. And I would explain what this Data Expunged talks about, but I actually want to withhold that because I personally believe that this article, while at face value is short, what lies behind it is such a cool concept in the SCP universe that is just it's not explored very often, and it's really interesting. But I'll at least go over the base, like the top half of what you get to see. We're not going to go deep into the iceberg, but I really recommend reading this article and reading all the sub-articles because it's nuts. All right. SCP-184. Object Class Euclid. Special Containment Procedures. SCP-184 is not to be contained in any structure. 184 is to be attached to a high-power electromagnet at all times. Should the electromagnet fail, agents are to report to 184's containment area and prevent access to all unauthorized personnel until the electromagnet is restored to power. The containment area for 184 is currently configured to resemble a park, with 184 and its containment magnet disguised as statuary. Any and all visitors are to be monitored. Any structures affected by 184 are to be demolished after review by Data Expunged. This is the super important article. It's actually an SCP tale, but it's such a cool tale. Final demolition approval or inclusion into SCP will also be determined by this body. No investigation is to be done into affected structures without approval, and a rescue team on standby. Description. 184 is a small, smooth, metallic object 10 centimeters tall and 10 centimeters wide, in the shape of a dodecahedron. Each face of the figure has a circular hole in the center, and a small sphere is attached to each vertex. 184 is made of an unknown but highly magnetic alloy about as hard as brass. When inside an enclosed structure, 184 expands the structure's inner dimensions without altering its outer dimensions. Like a pocket infinity sort of deal, where you stick it in a small area and it just makes it bigger and bigger and bigger. 184 will increase the inner dimensions of any enclosed structure by several hundred meters each day, beginning 1 hour after entry into the structure. Initially, 184 only extends the walls out, causing rooms to become much larger without adjusting the height of the room. This expansion continues until the original dimensions of the room have been tripled. At this point, 184 starts creating wholly new rooms. 184 is apparently able to copy items from inside the structure, creating furnace rooms consistent with the rest of the structure. After a period of time, however, the expansion process appears to break down. For example, items will be made from inappropriate materials, glass books, a wooden microwave, rooms will be oddly shaped, doors will turn into blank walls, and hallways will be tiny or twist back around in long mazes. The new inside structures continue to be more and more odd, while the outside remains unchanged. This behavior is most dramatically illustrated in homes. However, it has been observed in other instances, including a cardboard box. The changes do not go away with the removal of SCP-184, but no additional structures are created. Addendum 1. I don't think I need to stress the fact that this thing can never be allowed into Site-19. We may need to look into different containment at one point, but for the time being, we will keep it in the open, immovable, and hidden. Addendum 2. It is currently hypothesized that 184, or an anomaly with a similar effect, may be responsible for the creation of locations of interest such as Backdoor Soho and Chugoku Cellar. Investigation into SCP-184 has a potential origin for these spaces is ongoing. Notes on recovery. SCP-184 was recovered in the Kowloon Walled City in June of redacted. Reports on the city's bizarre and explosive growth attracted operatives, who soon learned of SCP-184, held in possession of data expunged. After several police crackdowns, Mobile Task Force Zeta-9 was dispatched and recovered SCP-184 with minimal losses. The final effect of exposure to SCP-184 on both the city and inhabitants may never fully be understood due to the reckless actions of local law enforcement, which destroyed several affected sections of the city before operatives could take action to prevent it. Interviews with residents yielded minimal information, with a communal wall of silence being the major response. A few documents indicated that SCP-184 could be brought into a home and allowed to affect the dwelling for £50 per half hour. These documents were unconfirmed by residents. Additional documentation. Personal log of Gordon Richards, member of Mobile Task Force Zeta-9 and the Mobile Rats. So, this whole thing goes to show that this object is very, very powerful. And this is when it gets nuts. Let's go look at the personal log of Gordon Richards, eh? Personal log of Gordon Richards, member of Mobile Team Zeta-9, the Mobile Rats. Date, June 3rd. Dispatched in the Kowloon Walled City to recover an object and document anything affected by it. I have never seen such a horrible place. The filth is everywhere. Whole walls and even structures made of garbage. If you crack your suit for even a second, you get flooded by the smell of smoke, cooking, sweat, machine oil, and excrement. Henry fell into a pit used as a sewer on the ground level after breaking through a trash walkway. He was fine, the suit was just filthy, but he threw up and had to be removed. I'm not sure if he's going to work out. Everyone here avoids us like the plague, or darts out to throw trash or insults. They are a tribe, and a territorial one at that. The sheer crush of humanity is intimidating, and I'm glad I have the suit between me and them. The objective is supposed to be somewhere in the core of this mass, but getting there is going to be tricky. June 4th. This is a day later. Local law enforcement led by agents did a bunch of raids last night. Cleared people out of some of the areas we need to go in, but there are so many people here it's hard to notice any difference. Yesterday's recon helped to uncover a couple homes affected by this thing. They don't look like much. The same squalid homes help to uncover the same squalid homes as everyone else, but they are too big inside. It's an odd feeling, standing with your hand on the wall, and knowing that by all rights you should be 6 feet outside the structure in midair. Henry's better today, but seems really jumpy. Lev took him aside and talked to him last night, and I hope he's helped. I'm getting worried about him. Caught him muttering to himself over the radio today. Told him to knock it off, but didn't report it. Maybe I should have. I think I'm going to ask him to be put on a different unit after this. Deep recon this evening. We're splitting up to try and hunt down where they're storing this thing. Lev and I pulled the short stick, and I have to hike it around the sewer system. Honestly, it can't be any worse than topside. At least I won't have to keep seeing the blank, empty faces of these people. June 6th. 2 days later. Henry is dead. We didn't get back until early this morning. We'd been off radio for several hours because of all the interference. It seems areas affected by this thing screw with the radio waves pretty bad. The sewer was a nightmare, but no sign of alteration by the item. When we came back up, Paul gave me the news. Henry and Paul were exploring through the center of the city when they got attacked. A mob of people swarmed them and dragged Henry off. Paul was hurt and his suit was badly damaged, but he had to leave for medical attention. Henry was screaming over the radio for a while, and then it cut off. Paul and a couple of other mole rats charged in with some agents to recover Henry, but after a few minutes, Henry came back on the radio. His receiver was broken, but he could still broadcast. One of the agents was recording, and he played it back to Levinai to see if it made any sense to us. It didn't. He was rambling and sounded like he was hurt. He kept talking about the endless heart of the city, the hell of glass. Just crazy stuff. See what I mean? Paul and the rescue team kept trying to find him, but suddenly his radio cut out again. Henry came tearing down one of those tiny halls, helmet off and screaming like a madman. He ran right by Paul and smashed an agent to a wall on his way by. He slammed into a dead end and just exploded through it right out of the building. He fell 6 stories onto some metal junk. It took an hour to get his body untangled. We're done screwing around here. Agent Parks, Lev, and me are rounding up with what amounts to the city elders, and we're getting to the damn bottom of this. June 7th. Interrogation went well. Agent Parks asked the questions. We provided what we called negative consequences for non-cooperation. The first guy, some triad punk, didn't want to talk. 2 broken legs later, and he was a lot more open. Said the thing was called the Builder, and nobody knew when it first came to the city. He never had anything to do with it, just helped stand guard outside rooms where it was working. He said that was all he knew, and then we had to talk to one of the elders, Long Wen, if we wanted it. He apologized for Henry's death, said it was just the way of things. I broke his jaw in 3 pieces. Damn right, man. Damn right. Long Wen may have been the oldest looking man I've ever seen, and with a will like iron. He just took everything we dished out, didn't say a word. Park said that the next stop was his wife and grandkids, and that got him talking. Told us it was kept in one of the oldest parts of the city, some old temple. It had grown and made wonderful things, but only the worthy could look upon it and not be overwhelmed by it. He said Henry was shown the wonders, in the hopes that he would be able to convince us not to take the Builder, but that he was not worthy and was broken. We made him show us where they keep it. Long Wen said it wouldn't do any good, that it was buried too deep. They moved it deep inside when they first caught one of the agents. He said we'd never get it back. We're going for deep work tomorrow, and we're not coming out without it. 3 whole days later, June 10th. Been out for a while. This place is amazing. At first, it was just a temple that was too big inside. Neat, but nothing new. Then we went in deeper. Whole rooms, altars, everything recreated and rearranged by this thing. It's like someone built 12 whole temples inside this one tiny structure. Agent Parks set up a recall point in the main hall with some other agents to make sure nobody sneaks up on us. We suited up and went to work. It started getting odd after about hour 6. Lots of hallways, not as many rooms. Then, 83 rooms all connected by those sliding doors, each with a tiny Buddha in the center of the floor and nothing else. Lev grabbed a few for samples. We knew things were getting odd when we came to a perfect reproduction of the first altar room, but appearing to be made of one solid mass of wood. The thing was beautiful and totally seamless, and not a single tool mark on anything. Paul found some documents and we scanned them back to Parks. Said they were about the object. Apparently they're calling it SCP-184 now. Parks said it talks about how they moved 184 deeper each time it made a new area. They thought it was some gift from God or something. Used it to expand rooms if people would donate to the temple or at least to the gangs that controlled it at the time. I've never been in a place like this. It's getting harder to maneuver. The halls are starting to get strange. They go up at funny angles, and the last few rooms have been tiny. By Lev's count, we should be 20 feet above the roof of this whole city by now. June 12th. Maybe. I'm getting sick of this place. Came to a branch yesterday, had to split the team. I drew the up hallway and set out. Not sure how long I've been climbing. The halls aren't regular anymore. They wave in and out like a frozen earthquake. Everything seems to be made of stone here. Managed to squeeze into a side room to catch my breath. Once I looked around, I saw everything was made of jade. It was all colored right, and had the right texture, but it was jade. Bed, chairs, table, books, everything. I sat on the bed for 2 hours and didn't think. I got up and smashed the jade lamp that was probably worth more than my life and left. I'm not feeling well. I feel really disconnected here like an astronaut or something. It's not like other areas I've been in. Never felt so alone. I'm fine. I know that. It's Henry dying, the whole rotten city outside, and me being alone and able to think too much. Rats are tested for mental stability, and I pass with flying colors. It's just my nerves. I'm sitting on a chair made of thousands of tiny dragon statues, writing on a table made of super dense paper, and I'm fine. You know, if I had to take a bet, I'd say he's not okay. I'd say he's starting to go crazy. I think any of us in this situation would genuinely be unable to comprehend what's around us. June. Unknown time. I've been out too long. Food low. Water low. Not out yet, but getting there. Hearing things. Keep thinking I hear voices. Been climbing for days. Saw light today. At the end of a side hall, bright yellow light. Climbed to the hall and ran. Smashed through the door and it was a room. Millions of candles, all lit, but just another room. Pulled off my helmet, smashed the candles with it. Broke my lenses, neck seal, radio, didn't care. Sat and cried for hours. Dropped a pick down the shaft today. Never heard it hit bottom. Almost jumped to go get it, but stopped. Gotta find this thing. Going to smash it to bits. Stomp it. Crush it. Still June. Food out. Suit can't make any more water. Saw a hall with 10,000 doors. Ran down it, smashed a bunch, then kept climbing. Lost my boots. Floor looked like carpet. Made a super sharp stone. Cut suit to ribbons. Feet too. Blood all over the shaft. Hope it appreciates it. Gonna crush this thing. Feel it shatter in my hand. Hate this place. Keep hearing Henry. Keep telling me it's dead. Won't listen. No idea. Top of shaft. Hall to forever. Lights everywhere. Going to kill the heart. Hell is heaven. Heaven is hell. Life is wonderful. Gordon Richards missing during the recovery of SCP-184. Presumed KIA. SCP-184 recovered by Team Zeta-9. Journal recovered in the rubble left from destruction of SCP-184 affected temple. What a read that was, huh? Yeah, so that's like the first half of what makes SCP-184 awesome. The second half is right here, which goes further into depth on like the implications of an object that can make infinite, never ending, always changing rooms made of all different kinds of materials. The concept in and of itself isn't super engaging per se, but the way it's presented is phenomenal. It's absolutely phenomenal. It's personally one of my favorite SCPs for that reason, and just that alone is enough to give it the high rating. But if you read this data expunged article, one second. If you read this data expunged article, which I'll give you a quick preview of the top half. Yeah, it's called The Truth, and it goes into the backstory of SCP-001, at least in the context of this SCP here. And it is one of the best stories on this entire site, in my opinion. It is phenomenal. But I just wanted to show that off because it's a great SCP. It's one of my favorites. And I wanted to at least add on a little bit. So yeah, with that, here's the tier list of everything we got through. Wow, that was a trip. I was not expecting to get some of the ones we got, for sure. I definitely want to go back to that the 6217 and read that more in depth, because that one's actually a really good read. The other ones were also pretty good all around. Even the first one we did, 1671, while it was really confusing, it was still a good story. It definitely didn't have the cohesion that the others did. But all in all, none of them were like absolutely bad. So that just goes to show how good the quality of SCP is. And yeah, for all the like grimdark serious stuff, there's a bunch of goofy stuff too. So if you like reading along to like a scientific styled article about random eldritch creatures, hit up the SCP wiki, pick a random article, have a time. That's what I do. It's good reading material. And there's some really complex language in here, and if you have no idea what's being talked about, it's fun to learn. I learned actually a couple big words from some SCP articles over the years. But anyway, I think with that, I think we're done here. I had a lot of fun with this. I don't know if I'm gonna do this again because it was a very specific topic. But you know, reading through articles and just experiencing new world building and storytelling that I haven't experienced before, that was fun. I enjoyed it. Let's see. Friday is BioShock, which I am really excited about. And then the stream right after that is some more Destiny 2. So I will sign off here, and I will see you then. If you came during the stream, thank you so much for coming. If you're here for the VOD, hi, nice to meet you. And that's all. Bye-bye!